Hello, America, and to our friends around the world, greetings and welcome back. She says, called the guy a bewitch and whacked him. Florida woman split man's face open with Pringles can at 7-Eleven. I've said it before, I'm not an expert. I had a child who graduated from a university with a degree in psychology, but that doesn't make me an expert. But the conversations that were had were often about psychology and motivations, so forth. They were quite well enjoyed. And I can't help but speculate. There is a very obvious mental health issue that is going on. And that is the reason behind the focus for March being designated Women's Month. A woman recently arrested in Florida with a can of Pringles. She attacked him in the eye. She hit the uh, the bone above the eye, where the eyebrow's at, and hit him so hard. You ever play that uh, Rocksteady Batman game, the Arkham Asylum? And they talk about how the character Penguin had suffered a similar situation by having a bottle impacted on his eye. So it's not a monocle that he's wearing, but actually an impacted bottle that couldn't be removed. That's essentially what this story, this report states. I mean, the Pringles didn't, wasn't permanently attached to his face, but they claim that this is a disfiguring attack. So Shanika Serdahl, 28, one count of aggravated battery. And it doesn't take much for her to do this. She's completely whacked out of her mind, to use, to paraphrase the headline there. The man said that, the man said he pulls in with his car, gets out. Another man outside makes a comment that he doesn't quite hear, and he goes inside the store and he asked the defendant, because she was in line in front of him and then stepped to the side so he could buy whatever it was that he was going to purchase, and made a comment about, you know the man outside, and asked her if she knew him. This set her off. She struck him in the eye with a Pringles chip can and took off running. And so they go on to say that he had significant damage to his right eyebrow and below his eye. Anybody that's had a head wound knows that you're going to be pouring blood. All right, so let's read on here. The man was attacked, however, said he was not being rude at all, because that was her claim. That what set her off was something she interpreted as a derogatory comment. When, according to the clerk, because the clerk corroborated his story, he asked if she knew who the man was outside. As I pulled up to the 7-Eleven, there was a guy sitting outside, and as I got out of the car, he said something under his breath, so I ignored him and walked into the 7-Eleven. As I was standing in the line, there was a young lady in front of me talking to the cashier. She seemed like she had been drinking. So she stood to the side as I was about to pay for my drink, and I asked if she knew the guy outside. This Shanika Serdahl turned around, hit me in my eye and above my eye with a Pringles chip can, and split my brow. The employee vouched for the victim's version. The deputy said the defendant was eventually found with a can of Pringles on her person. He asked if she paid for it. You gotta love the priority. We have a man who's bleeding out from his head, but we want to make certain you paid for that can of Pringles. The misandry, the gynocentric mentality is rampant. According to the article, which I'll have the link in the description, of course, she's not even listed in the jail system. I mean, what kind of everybody talks about how wonderful Florida is, and I've been there. It's not bad. It's flat. I-95 is all was never congested with traffic. The only issue I ever had was in Orlando and Miami, uh, for the obvious reasons. Those are two of the most popular tourist destinations in the state. But you got to wonder, what is it that goes on in the mind of these people in dealing with something like this? This isn't, she they didn't even breathalyze her because of the attack, and the guy states in his report to the police he felt that she was drunk or had been drinking at least. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when you assess the crime scene, when I took my crime scene classes, these were things that you wanted to collect as much evidence to document the crime scene as much as possible. And this just seems very lazy in the response. Absurd. All right. Hopefully, justice is served. Hopefully, the guy's eye isn't damaged. Hopefully, he just gets a nice battle scar out of it. Hopefully, she gets locked up for life, as she's obviously got some issues to deal with and is a clear and present danger to society at large. All right, so this next one is about Melanie Biggins. And for some reason, this one seems familiar to me. And I looked in my inventory and I didn't see anything, but I believe, if I did do this, it was a composite with others, but then again, it may not have been. This is about a Missouri woman, Melanie Biggins. She didn't want to pay for a divorce, so she shot her husband in his sleep and blamed a home invasion. As you can read in the secondary headline, the police responded as she's performing CPR. So January 27, she pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter. So we know he's not with us any longer. And this was in connection to August 31, 2022, of her husband, Ettienne McEwan. So she was arrested August 31, charged with first degree murder and armed criminal actions or action, according to the documents. And she made a plea deal. So, boys, men, be aware your life is not important. The prosecuting attorney's office, the district attorney's office, whichever it is that you have for where you're at, they're not going to pursue justice in the event that you're harmed, damaged, ended, anything. They're going to do a plea agreement. And the reason they do a plea agreement is so that they can put another notch on their count of successes. Getting a plea agreement ups their they're a government employee, and they are based off their metrics of how many successful prosecutions and deals that they make. If they lose a case, they get negatively impacted. They're not concerned at all with justice. They're concerned with successful prosecutions and plea deals, nothing more. So be aware of that. So she originally faced life in prison had she not copped to a lesser plea deal. So the way that the report goes is about 1 a.m., August 31st, she called 911 to report an intruder. They found her performing CPR. She told the police, and the way that it goes is that according to the radio station KMBC, that's Kilo Mike Bravo Charlie, she said she turned on a light and found McEwan had been shot beneath his chin. She said that when she ran downstairs, the front door was open, but she didn't see anyone. KCTV reported. That's Kilo Charlie Tango Victor. But it was all a lie. Her story started crumbling when officers began asking her what happened. And check this out. She initially told police the only weapon in the home was his rifle, but later admitted to buying a gun from a pawn shop. There you go. This was 100% intentional, and she's getting away with it. I don't know what the sentencing is for her. This came out of People magazine, and I put it up on archive, or somebody else did. I don't recall off the top of my head. But regardless, I've got the link to it in the description also, should you want to pursue it more. And if you want to pursue it more, type it into the search engine and see what you can find. All right, just stay safe out there, everybody. Remember, it's Women's Month, and March is an exceptionally long month because we came out of February, which is the shortest month out of the calendar year.